Hello, friends, and welcome to Comical Recovery with your friend and host, comedian Jessica Byrne. That's right. I'm here with the most trauma, so we can trauma bond together. Oh boy, what are we going to talk about today, guys? Well, my thought was, let's talk about, how do I put this? People that backstab you. Simple as that. You guys have not heard from me much the last 30 days. I have been going through it. And so that's why we have this topic of backstabbing people. Here's the deal, kiddos. If you haven't been through some stuff before, let me tell you when you'll go through some stuff. When you're going through a vulnerable moment is when people will just pounce all over you if given the opportunity. So a few episodes ago, we've talked about boundaries. And when you're trying to build boundaries with people, it sometimes feels like that's when the biggest attacks come. You try to set boundaries or standards, and that is when you'll get the most pushback, especially if you haven't done those things before. Because here's the deal, kiddos. When people are used to walking all over you, they don't really like it when you don't want them to do that anymore. So what has happened to me in my recent experience is this. I had dated someone that was a bit stalkery. Let's just put it that way. Oh, wait, and a violent drunk. There's that. So long story short, that relationship had to end. And it's pretty devastating, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, the way that relationship had to end was with a restraining order, or in the state of Florida, we like to call them injunctions. And I am going to have an episode coming to you about injunctions. Why would you have an episode of that, Jessica? Well, because that stuff is really, really hard. Not only to go through the process, but it's emotionally and mentally difficult. It is crazy when you're dealing with a narcissist, but I'm pretty sure that anyone who's going to stalk you is probably not going to be an easy person to just get to leave you alone. So that is why I will be putting out an episode on injunctions and the process of that, but I'm not quite done with it yet. So I'm not going to put that out until I have gone through all of the stupid hoops, and hopefully this thing will be in place for the long term. Right now I have a temporary. All that being said, and I say this because in the midst of the chaos and all of the crap that I have going on, I met a new friend, and this female friend of mine offered a place for me to stay. I had a room to stay in. So she told me that she would move her child's things out of the room so that I could have, a private space. That never happened. And don't get me wrong, she still went through my room because she went through the items in my room. Which is why I didn't end up signing a lease with her, because I noticed right away that I would have zero personal space. Everything this person said to me was a lie, and she never followed through with anything, and then ended up stealing from me as well. So I hope for her sake that she's listening, because I know that she's still watching all of the social media things that I have. So here's the deal, guys. 2 funny things. One of which is that these people that do crappy things to you still envy the crap out of you. They're still extremely jealous and just relentlessly looking at whatever you have going on. So be proud of that, because that means you have stuff going on and that people are jealous for a reason. most people don't have stability, and their belief systems don't align with things that are going to be fruitful for them. And then they try to project that onto you, especially in moments like this. Now, apparently this is going to be a short episode because, once again, since all this stuff has happened, I have fallen a little bit behind on my responsibilities. This is one of them, and paying the bill for it is the other. But as you can see, there has been a lot going on. And I really just wanted to pop in and share with you guys so that you know that I'm still around, and I will be putting more things out. And in this next round, I really want to talk about old me versus new me. So the episodes in the near future are going to be kind of a dual interviewing of old me versus new me. And the intention for this year is to discover our true selves. The intention is going to be to share with you how to go about discovering your true self, discovering your talents, your strengths, your weaknesses, so that you can accommodate or strengthen accordingly. And in therapy, we learn that even your strengths can become weaknesses if they're too much. Isn't that lovely? That's just delightful, isn't it? Just everything can go to everything, which is my problem because I have a generosity problem, which also, just so everyone that's listening knows, I no longer have. I have zero generosity because, well, frankly, I'm beginning to fully immerse myself in this idea of protecting me first. And here's a concept: knowing my worth. Yes, that's right. When you know your worth, you stop giving all of yourself away. At least that's my experience. This whole last few months has shown me what my worth is. I've seen people try to take from me because I have stability, and honestly, I didn't see that in myself. Perspective is such a beautiful thing. It can really keep you on the course of your life. At least for me it does, because there's so many times I want to take this train off the rails, like immediately. I just don't even want to put it back on. And I have to just take a deep breath and soak in the fact that I'm learning so much from other people. And I could have just had a huge loss by signing a lease with this girl that stole $1,100 from me and lied, and then had the audacity to tell her son passive aggressively in front of my door while I was sleeping. This was the last day that I was there. She says to her son, "Mommy helps everyone and no one helps Mommy." What she should have said was, "Mommy steals from everyone and that's why everyone's abandoning her." Okay? Yeah. Mommy's financially irresponsible and she puts her drug use before you. That's what she should have said. But this is the kind of people and circumstances that we deal with in life sometimes. And I'm just tired of that. I don't want to hang out with this caliber of people that is socially acceptable to create bogus stories and, fabricate her heroism of her own life story. And if that's the case, I'm going to fabricate the heroism of my life story, and that's the difference between toxic people and people that are unfortunately codependent or have trauma or whatever it is that we have, that we end up being doormats. It's because we don't talk to ourselves like these people do. And that needs to change immediately. I don't know how that person in particular talks to themselves, but I know that I have been around so many people in my life the last few months that think they are the bee's knees, okay? And I don't think that about myself really, but I am resilient. And I have been through 37 years of people trying to squash me like a bug. But my spirit animal is a cockroach. Or at least that's how I feel. Because I swear, as many times as I've gotten squashed, I'm still here, bouncing back. It may not be as quick as I'd like. It may not be the way that I'd like. Because I certainly didn't want to come back and just give you 15 minutes of my time. But 15 minutes is better than 0. And we got to start somewhere. So I guess in the meantime, while we're being fiscally responsible and making up for what we just lost, we will just do 15 minutes for as long as it takes. As long as consistency is still here, that's really all I care about. And I hope that you guys care about that too. So, be wary of the backstabbers. We didn't find a solution. This is more of a segue. I am frustrated today, but we are here together doing this thing. And maybe, just maybe, I will be able to get my thoughts together soon and give you some solutions to the problems of life on life's terms. But for now, this is how I've got for the day. And I'll end with this because the internal struggle right now is this toss-up of telling the story, not telling the story, and then inner criticisms coming up and saying like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And you know what? It may not. And that's okay too. Because like I said, we're on this journey together. And I am a bit of a mess lately, so buckle up. Here we go. I will see you next time, okay, on another beautiful episode of Comical Recovery. It might be a little more put together, but probably not. Don't put your chips all in one basket. We love you here, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a beautiful day. And a glorious healing.